Hey, so I'm going to go over just a really quick routine that you can do to help with your IT band issues, hip instability, and we're going to start with the foam roller. So we do a sideline position to address the distal part of the IT band, and we just rest the leg right on top of the roller and make yourself a little pillow under your arm. Your top leg can rest on top, or you can rest it behind, whatever works for you, maybe forward. Find a position that feels comfortable. Then you're going to move your leg just in and out, just twisting a little bit your whole body forward and back so the roller stays steady and you roll your body over the roller. Take some nice deep breaths and just feel you're working that tissue right here underneath where the roller is placed. Then you're going to extend and bend your knee. That is the one that's on the roller. You could do both at the same time, doesn't matter. And what we're doing here is just moving again, just in a different way. You can move a little backwards on it, so a little bit closer to the hamstring side, and do it there. You can roll a little bit more into the quadricep side, and just really above the knee, right? So just above the knee and kind of working that whole area. Use your intuition. Okay, next you're going to take the roller to the proximal part, and you're just going to lie right there and just do the same thing right at the top. So you can relax in this. If you need to have a leg here, you can just rest your leg and just try that proximal part. Keep your stomach tight. Hold on. You can bend and straighten the knees. Now sometimes this pressure might be too much to stack the legs. You can always just drop one leg on the floor here and then swing the leg like this. This is also another way to do it. And just working that tissue right along the side. Make sure it's not excruciatingly painful. It shouldn't feel like it's being irritated. We don't want to irritate inflamed tissue. All right, so then from there, that's our IT band, right? So then we're going to go into rolling the TFL. So that's going to be the muscle that starts right here at that little bone in the front of your pelvis. You're going to come into sort of a forearm plank position here. You can also rest all the way down. So I like to rest all the way on my arm and then roll a little bit in and out, just turning my hips and pelvis, rotating in and out right on that muscle. You can do little ups and backs. I'm using my foot to move the roller a little bit up and back. You can also flex and extend the knee. Move the leg around. Find something that feels good so that you're releasing that tissue. Good, so the next part we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the sideline exercises. The first one is gonna be the clamshell. So you wanna stack up nice and tall, one hip on top of the other. Bring your hand on the back of your pelvis so that you can feel that tuck tilt. And you wanna be a little bit more moving towards the tilted position of your pelvis where your lower back is in neutral. There's a little curve in the lower back. You're going to keep that stacked position and then just take a little clamshell. So first we lift up the leg and just hold it up there and get the positioning set so that you stay stacked, you stay in that neutral pelvis position, so not tucking your pelvis under. We're going to keep that little curve and just hold right there at the top range of motion. And then we'll go ahead and take some repetitions. So we're going to go down, up, 8 times. You can go more than 8, you can go less than 8. The goal is you want the muscle to feel tired. You're going to feel some hip work here in the hip rotator muscles. You want to make sure that you do not feel like your hip is straining. So strain feels a little bit more on the hurting side of things versus just a muscle working and getting tired. So you're going to feel a little burn in the muscle, and it should get really hard for you to lift and lower the leg. You have to move slow though. Good, I think that's about 7 for me. It's possible it's more. But I go by the feeling, I go by the fatigue, and you should too. And you eventually could add some resistance to this and put a resistance band around your leg. Good, and then I'm gonna hold the top range and I'm gonna pulse it for just 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's pretty burnt up right there. And then my next exercise is I'm going to straighten out. I'm going to get up against a wall ideally, and you're gonna take your hips and stack them up, stretch your legs all the way long, use your hand for support, and then take your leg up away from the bottom leg. You're gonna send that leg back towards the wall, and then you're gonna turn it out a little bit. But you wanna make sure that you don't roll backwards into the wall. Now my table's not all the way up against the wall, but you move your butt a little bit away from the wall so that you can feel if your butt starts to hit the wall, you're rolling your pelvis. You wanna keep it stacked. So we're gonna keep that leg stacked, we're gonna lift it up, we're gonna turn it out, right, just a little bit. Now we're gonna go in, out, turn it in, out, and in, out. Nice and easy. It's not a big range of motion, so we don't wanna do any movement in the pelvis. The pelvis stays nice and steady here, so I'm just moving my leg bone right here in the socket. Good, we're gonna go for 4 more for me here, and 3. Just again, we'll go by fatigue and get that feeling in there. I'm pushing my heel just a little bit into the wall there too. Now I'm gonna turn out and hold the turned out position. I'm gonna push that leg a little bit into the wall, and then I'm gonna slide the leg down the wall and then up the wall, while I'm maintaining that little push into the wall. But we don't wanna roll our pelvis back, right? We're gonna stay nice and stacked so that this is a neutral position in the pelvis and just the leg bones moving as you lift that leg up. It should get pretty hard. You should feel some fatigue right in about here in that side butt area. If you feel it in the front, you wanna make sure that you're getting your leg a little bit behind you and turning it out a little bit and not rotating the pelvis. Good, so once you do about 8 to 10 of those, you're gonna lift up and hold the top position. Little pulses right there at the top until you feel a lot of fatigue, but don't strain. Good, and then rest. Good, okay, take a little stretch. And then the last thing we're gonna do is a standing single leg balance. So I'm gonna stand up on the table here, and I'm gonna be the headless trainer for a moment here, but you're gonna stand on 2 feet, hip width apart, and then you're gonna accept, first of all, we wanna make sure our arches are lifted. So we have ball of the big toe, ball of the baby toe, back edges of both the inside and outside edges of the heel. Lift up all your toes so you can feel the pressure through your metatarsals. Those are the long toe bones. And then relax your toes, keep your arch lifted. Then you're gonna lift up your, if I'm going still with the right leg here, so I'm gonna lift up my left heel, or you lift up one heel. And then of the leg you're working is going to be the straight leg, and then we lift up that arch, we keep the arch lifted, and you're going to feel your butt muscle working, the same muscle that was working when you were sidelined. You can hold on to something, or you can do this without holding on, it's up to you. Keep your hips level, so you don't want to sit in your hip. Nice level hips, square hips, so you're not going to turn your pelvis right or left. And then we're going to go ahead and see if we can take that foot and turn the toe over. This might make some toes cramp or arches cramp. So check in with yourself, but it's a good thing to stretch this top of your foot a little bit and work the toes. So I'm just gonna do those little rollovers first, all while standing on that single leg on the right, keeping this muscle firing up here on the side of the butt. Then we're gonna go ahead and try lifting the leg and taking a balance. So either balancing with the arms off or using a wall or a chair, something to hold on to. Preferably something that is not going to throw you off balance by holding on. It's just there to catch you if you fall. But we want to get the arches lifted, the triad of the foot planted, ball the big toe, ball the little toe, back edges of the heel, your weight's evenly distributed. So you're working through your foot. And then you're going to stand on that leg and just try to balance. You could pull your left knee up to your chest. That would make it harder. And take that balance and come down. So you're going to stay there as long as you can. I like to do a little shake out of the hip afterwards. Just kind of shake it out, almost like I was putting out a cigarette butt there, which none of us do, hopefully. And that's all we have for you. And that's all I have for you today. So I hope you enjoy that little sequence. It's a great one for keeping your hips stable.